So what do you make of her claim that she has no idea who you are?
You know, it's been just a series of lies, and I can't believe we're essentially looking at $100 million fake news PR machine. It's projection at its finest, and it's almost comical.
Meghan Markle does not represent black people in the United States. I don't know if you knew that.
No question she doesn't. I knew her a bit before she met Harry. She was nothing like that. She didn't speak like that. Her mannerisms weren't like that. This is all fake. Don't worry, I'm very familiar. She doesn't represent anybody.
Of course
other
not.
than a very elite, hypocritical group of people.
What we hear behind the scenes is that she's a bully who fires everybody, only worried about herself. But when she gets on camera, she actually is a decent actress in being like, I'm just this super relatable person with her own flower sprinkles and, candle line. And I just sit around being like a working mom. I'm just like all the other working moms.
Right.
That's me. And the moments before you give birth to your child is one of them. When you are together in that room and your child is coming.
Carlson just blasted Meghan Markle, saying she doesn't represent black Americans, or frankly, anyone at all. That remark cracked the entire debate wide open because Tucker didn't stop there. He went beyond questioning her image and brought Meghan Markle's half-sister, Samantha Markle, onto his show to reveal what she claims Meghan has concealed for years. We'll get to that bombshell interview shortly, but first, you need to understand how Tucker's remarks unleashed a wave of criticism from some of the most influential voices in media. One after another, they took aim at Meghan, and none of them held back. The opening salvo came from Megyn Kelly, and she was absolutely relentless. Kelly dismantled the polished Meghan that supposedly exists behind the scenes, exposing cracks in the relatable working mom image. And look, this isn't some random claim pulled from a gossip magazine. Multiple reports, multiple sources, multiple countries, spanning several years. At this stage, the pattern is hard to ignore. But Kelly also highlighted something else, something that suggests just how carefully orchestrated everything may be.
What we hear behind the scenes is that she's a bully who fires everybody, only worried about herself. But when she gets on camera, she actually is a decent actress in being like, I'm just this super relatable person with her own flower sprinkles and, candle line. And I just sit around being like a working mom. I'm just like all the other working moms.
Right.
That's me.
According to critics, Meghan reportedly held onto that footage for years, waiting for the ideal moment to release it when she needed a boost in sympathy or relatability. That's not impulsive. That's deliberate. That's someone treating private memories like assets to be strategically deployed later. The more you think about it, the more unsettling it becomes. The divide between the public persona and the private reality has rarely looked wider.
There are some moments that are supposed to be between a husband and a wife only. And the moments before you give birth to your child is one of them. When you are together in that room and your child is coming.
And when that divide grows too large, people begin questioning everything. Every Instagram post feels calculated. Every interview sounds scripted. Every emotional moment appears staged. Trust starts to disappear. In a way, it's almost tragic.
She's reportedly bullied virtually everybody who's ever worked for her. She can't keep a staff in London. She can't keep a staff in Montecito. She's a bully. She's obsessed with her own ego, face on television, etc., and playing the victim. So no amount of humanizing videos, even if she managed to find one, are going to. She needs us to love her. So she will do whatever it takes, and she doesn't know how to make us love.
All the effort, all the branding, all the meticulously crafted content. And for what? The more she pushes for admiration, the more critics claim people see through the performance. And Kelly wasn't the only one challenging Meghan's narrative. Piers Morgan knew Meghan before Prince Harry entered the picture, and what he revealed adds an entirely different dimension to the story.
I knew her a bit before she met Harry. She was nothing like that. She didn't speak like that. Her mannerisms weren't like that. This is all fake. She was a real hard-nosed LA girl, right, who was on the fast track. Yeah. Now she's like this, oh, I'm soft, I'm mummy, I'm this. It's all bullshit.
This is someone who spent time with her before the royal wedding, before the reinvention, before the global rebranding. So when Morgan insists she wasn't like this before, critics argue that carries weight. The transformation wasn't gradual, it appeared dramatic and complete.
She signed a huge deal with Netflix and all of these, but they all keep flopping. The reason they keep flopping is because she doesn't have anything to say. If you want to be a public figure who is a thought leader, you need to have, like, at least least something to.
It's almost like watching someone perform a role so convincingly that it becomes their entire identity. The remarkable part is that the character has been maintained for so long that some believe she may even believe it herself. But the past doesn't simply disappear, especially when people like Morgan remember exactly who you were before the spotlight intensified. And many point to the struggles of her projects as evidence of that disconnect.
She wants the tiara, she doesn't want the public service. So she runs into becoming a princess, but then when she realizes that you actually have to do things when you're a princess, it's not all just Disneyland, people waiting on you hand and foot and adulating you when you actually have to do things, then she says, I don't want to be a princess anymore.
Think about how many celebrities have built successful brands. Rihanna created a beauty empire. Dwayne Johnson expanded into multiple ventures. Ryan Reynolds transformed Aviation Gin into a multi-million-dollar success story. These figures offered something beyond celebrity status. Critics argue Meghan is attempting to market lifestyle content without presenting a clear lifestyle philosophy that resonates with audiences.
They want all the privileges, they want all of the honors, they want all the plaudits, but they don't want to do it. A woman who destroyed her in-laws' family, whose own family doesn't like her, whose the in-laws obviously don't like her, the public doesn't like her. What's the title of her show? Love Meghan. For what? To watch? Who wants to watch Meghan Markle bake a pie? All the little clips of her seem to attempt to show some reticence or some kind of meekness. They want her to appear demure and modest. The act of making a TV show about herself is not modest. She's not reluctant to speak. She really wants attention.
She wanted the fairy tale without the obligations, the crown without the responsibility, the admiration without the sacrifice. And when reality arrived, when royal life required protocol, service, and public duty rather than personal preference, critics say she struggled to embrace it.
Guys, I feel like I'm a very accepting person. Truly, I want to like something about her. I'm searching for something to like about her. And it's so hard because she suffers from such a rare disorder of being unable to just be a human. Give us one strip of authenticity. She wants us to believe that she went from being a D-list actress from a show that nobody that I know watched, Suits, okay, who took her clothes off, was not even a main role, okay, was doing sex scenes, to becoming Martha Stewart in 3 years. This is totally authentic.
This is the central criticism that commentators keep returning to. They argue the sense of entitlement is impossible to ignore. Wanting the prestige of working royals while pursuing Hollywood deals from a Montecito mansion is, in their view, trying to have it both ways. But what Samantha Markle revealed to Tucker Carlson about the secrets Meghan allegedly kept hidden, that's where the story takes another turn. We'll get to that explosive interview shortly, but first you need to understand how deep these contradictions appear to critics, because the inconsistencies only seem to grow more glaring. And many people were left asking a simple question: who exactly wants to watch Meghan Markle bake a pie?
Be a real princess is to focus your life on the service of others, is to be elegant and to comport yourself with dignity and to restrain your individual desires and to be a public figure serving the public without any particular care for yourself.
Even the title sounds almost satirical. Love, Meghan. It's like naming a show Everybody Adores Me when critics argue the opposite is true. To them, it doesn't come across as confidence, it comes across as delusion. And the branding surrounding the show becomes even more questionable the closer you examine it. Every trailer, teaser, and promotional clip seems determined to push the same narrative, that Meghan is somehow reluctant to be in the spotlight, as if she's being unwillingly dragged in front of cameras. Poor Meghan, supposedly forced to let production crews follow her around a multi-million-dollar mansion.
So what do you make of her claim that she has no idea who you are?
The contradiction couldn't be clearer. You can't demand privacy while simultaneously producing documentaries about your own life. Audiences aren't naive, and while many commentators were already challenging the narrative, Candace Owens took it a step further and voiced what many others hesitated to say openly.
Pretend princess, to be an actress, is to totally indulge your selfish desires and do whatever you want and be glamorous and live for the tabloids and beg for people's attention.
That's the frustration countless people struggle to describe. You keep searching for something authentic, something sincere, something relatable. Yet every interaction feels choreographed. Every emotion seems rehearsed. It's like trying to connect with someone who's constantly performing for an unseen audience. Even the timeline raises questions. In just a few years, Meghan supposedly transformed from a relatively unknown television actress into a lifestyle authority. Oprah spent decades building trust and credibility. Martha Stewart invested years mastering her craft before becoming a household name. Critics argue Meghan simply declared herself an expert without putting in the same groundwork. To them, the confidence borders on astonishing.
You know, it's been just a series of lies, and I can't believe we're essentially looking at $100 million fake news PR machine. It's projection at its finest, and it's almost comical.
This is what critics say Meghan fundamentally misunderstood about royalty. It's not centered on personal ambition. It never was. It's about duty, sacrifice, and placing the institution above individual desires. That's why people respected the Queen. That's why many admired Diana despite the challenges she faced. They understood the role they were expected to fulfill.
Well, she does seem to have left quite a trail of destruction in her wake, but she also has, as you pointed out in your first sentence, on her side, telling her story in soft focus. What's it like to be up against that?
Critics argue Meghan wanted the fairy tale version of royalty, the gowns, the galas, the prestige, and the worldwide attention. But not the obligations that come with it, not the routine charity visits, the protocol, the discipline, or the service. In their view, she wanted celebrity wearing a crown rather than royalty carrying responsibility. But the most damaging criticism came from within her own family. Tucker Carlson invited Samantha Markle onto his show, and she held absolutely nothing back.
We didn't know how we were going to deal with it until, like they say, water seeks its own level. Eventually the truth comes out, and when it does, and when the dust settles, I thought, truth has to stand for something. Truth wins. So here we are.
When you really think about it, the scale of the media operation is remarkable. Most celebrities rely on publicists and perhaps a crisis management team. Critics claim Meghan and Harry have built an entire communications machine focused on shaping public perception. Yet despite the resources, they continue struggling to win over skeptics. Samantha isn't speaking from anonymous tips or tabloid speculation.
And it seems to me that they, got into their position. They had a lot of fun. They loved the accolades and the perks. But when it came time to being accountable and being responsible and following rules, that seems to be when everything fell apart.
She's speaking as someone who knew Meghan personally and witnessed events firsthand. According to her, the most surprising aspect is Meghan's ability to portray herself as the victim regardless of the circumstances surrounding the controversy. You can only shape a narrative for so long before inconsistencies begin surfacing. Eventually people compare stories, connect the dots, and identify recurring patterns. And when enormous resources are spent on image management yet doubts continue growing, critics argue the issue is no longer public relations, it's credibility. Many describe it as wanting the privileges without accepting the responsibilities. Picking which royal traditions to embrace and which to ignore simply doesn't work. That's not how institutions function. That's not how families function. And critics argue that mindset lies at the heart of the controversy.
Do you have any advice for her in-laws? She's married into this big and storied family and seems to have disrupted it pretty profoundly. What would you counsel them?
So what advice does Samantha have for the royal family as they continue dealing with the ongoing disruption?
I think he needs to act, certainly swiftly and severely and lay down the boundaries because they seem to not like boundaries. And I think it sets a dangerous precedent to let this go on.
I think that's wise advice really for any.
According to Samantha, the answer is simple. Establish clear boundaries and enforce them consistently. She argues that every time the royal family overlooks an issue, it encourages Meghan and Harry to push even further. In her view, the discussion is no longer just about two individuals, it's about safeguarding the reputation and stability of the monarchy itself. And then came the proposal many commentators have been demanding for years.
You should just do what I've said for a few years now. Just take the titles away. Let them get on with being Meghan and Harry, celebrities. You can be judged accordingly. You can do what you like. It's the problem is doing it under the umbrella of being the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, him remaining in line to the...
To many critics, this is the only logical outcome. If Meghan and Harry want to live as Hollywood celebrities, then live as Hollywood celebrities. But they argue you can't continue benefiting from royal titles while publicly criticizing the institution that granted them. Nor can you profit from royal connections while simultaneously distancing yourself from them. At some point, a choice has to be made. So after everything that's happened, what remains of Meghan's brand? Critics argue very little. Calls for decisive action continue growing, while Meghan attempts another reinvention through lifestyle programming and cooking content. But there's one uncomfortable question that keeps resurfacing. When trust has been damaged and public goodwill has been exhausted, can it truly be rebuilt? And if the royal connection disappeared tomorrow, what exactly would Meghan Markle have left to market? Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more royal updates and exclusive coverage.